So yes, love and air with our final integration for the last week of the medicine wheel with love. So we've so far had our love of earth, where we've had our journey through the earth and we met with so much guidance and richness with the earth. And we had love of fire as well to start with, of course, which was the first part of love. And the second part of love was love in the earth. And just as we're going through it, if you can remember some of the experience or messages from each part of this, because in the fourth week, we always integrate everything together in our final journey. So just remember, if you can, what was happening when you were doing the love with the fire, with that fire session, what your guidance and messages were. If you could boil those down to one word, what would that be? And have a think about the same for love with the earth. If you remember your journey through into the earth and through into the physical with the love of the earth, what that journey was like. And if you could have one word from love and earth, what would that be? Because what you're making here is you're making your medicine shield. And if you were in a tribe doing this, you would actually have a shield for love, or even a drum for love, which was decorated. So the theme of love, we've traveled through the fire and through the earth and into the water with love. So we've colored and shaped each direction with love of the medicine wheel. And today we go to the air, so love of air. And we shape and we create our landscape of what love and air is mixed together. If you think about it, it's like having a medicine cabinet, and this medicine is love. And you've got four components of love which you might need to share and give out so that you can be balanced and centered in that medicine of love. So if you were to work for yourself or even for other people, working with love, and it's so often said that true healing comes from love. You have to have an unconditional love for people, and certainly a love for all of those parts of anybody that come to you who's looking for the healing. You have to have a compassion and a love for what you're actually healing and changing. You can't go in to make a difference to anybody if you're not going in with love. If you're going in with anything other than love, you actually aren't going to be able to connect to that vibration, to that portal which exists in the heart, which ultimately connects us all. And it's an unconditional love. It's often easiest to go back to the feeling of being a child when you want to connect to that love, because when we're real children, the toddler age, we often have that sight of the world as being magical and anything can happen. And also the sight that everybody accepts and loves us. There shouldn't be any reason at that age why we should feel not accepted. And we have that belief, and that's the regard that you need to have to be able to engage in with that love when you're working on yourself or with someone else. So self-criticism is actually criticism of the inner child. When you criticize yourself, you're actually think you feel like you're criticizing your adult self, but actually your inner child can hear every piece of criticism that you give out to yourself. And it's the inner child then which deeply feels it down there in the south, in the waters. And that's when you need to engage the spiritual, compassionate adult, which the spiritual adult is also in the north. So this spiritual love, this higher understanding, and this airy expanse, you see, the winds form things, they shape and move things around. Air moves us, and air moves everything around. When we're working with air and love, we're actually thinking about a force or a birthright of life is air. All of the elements are quite rightly birthrights, but air quite even more so is a sign of sovereignty. When we're born, we take our first breath, and that's our sovereign separateness, sovereignty. You know, it's the first breath we take once we've left those birthing waters and we become a separate entity. We take a breath of our own. It's the first thing, perhaps, that really marks our own sovereignty, taking in air. And we breathe forevermore since there, you know, we breathe. In fact, it's said that even should we be stars in the stars, if we are thoughts and energies beyond the star and solar system before we come down to Earth, we are the breath of the universe. And it's in fact the will of the highest conceivable entity which breathes us into this existence, you know, and we carry part of that with us. So we are essentially, I'm feeling into us being breath within breath. We have been breathed into this life, into this body, and we also breathe into that breath. So if the spirit inside us was breathed into being, into our being, we are that piece of breath, and we're breathing into that piece of breath as well to move it around, you know, breath on breath, because that divine part of us that's breathed into us is in fact unconquerable. And then we breathe into ourselves around that, perhaps to move it. So when we move our body with breath, when we breathe as into our physical breath and we use air in our physical breath, we're actually firing up and powering all of the meat suit of us, the incarnation of us. We're powering that. And so many thoughts around air and breath can be had, you see. If you think about breath, oh, there's Kate, she's just been on. There you are, Kate. So yes, the eternal breath, the spirit, what the word spirit itself goes into inspiration and inspire, respiration and expiration. So much of air is in some respects to do with thought. We look on the holistic medicine wheel and we put air as your mental health, as your thought and thinking health. But above that, it's actually your spirit. The air is contains the spirit of life. It contains the pranic energy, if you're looking into yogic perspective. It contains the essence of all of the things that we need to live. It's just vanished again, so I'll wait for her to come back.
Nostrils.
That's okay. And so we're thinking about breath, not just breath and air, and the north of the medicine wheel, not just as being our breath that we have in our own selves, but also the breath of life, which contains spirit and soul when it came into us. The north is also the kingdom of the animals, and so we all have our pets, our familiars and our animals, and we have such an unconditional love from them. And in fact, unconditional love is kind of like a master key going around all of the elements with love. You know, it seems to be, for me, it's like the vehicle in which we travel when we're going around love. It's the kind of pass key to get through the whole cycle of love is being unconditional. And that is the greatest expression. But there are often times as well when we're unable to express our love because we withdraw it to protect ourselves, or we keep it hidden perhaps in order to be able to survive in what we're doing. And so on one hand, we do have the full expression of unconditional love, but then we also have a full expression of conditional love and almost real self kind of ego love, you know, or selfish love, when we're just doing it because we have to survive, so I have to act like this, you know. It's a kind of opposite of that. So dancing around love with thoughts. Sometimes if we look at the North and the thought process, one of the enemies and allies of the North that we've learned is that the North is wisdom and understanding, but it can also be stubborn self-righteousness, because if you've got one idea and you believe that you're right on it, then you can't be changed on it. That's not always going to be wisdom. That's fixed thinking. And it's often with that fixed thinking that we attach to survival instincts, and therefore that kind of selfishness, retracting our ability to be unconditionally giving and loving. And there's so many times in life when we move and we act with that. Yeah. So there's the expression and the repression of that love and the thinking of love, particularly with the expression, the full expression on the side of wisdom and real kind of understanding that nothing is fixed and nothing is permanent. And then there's the air northern thinking of things are fixed and things are unmovable, which can often do good for us. It can do good things for us, but it can also mean that we are perhaps repressing our sharing of unconditional love. And finding a balance in the center point of that. So if that's a figure of 8, the expression of unconditional love and the repression being conditional love, we need to find a balanced point in the center. A place where we can continuously perpetuate a creative flow of love with air. Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Anything to share? What are your reflections on this?
Hello.
Hello.
A lot of the time I end up thinking of a sort of like physical sort of example of it. And like I've been doing Buteyko breathing, which is like functional breathing, which is like a really sort of healthy, slow, like samurai warriors, like you were saying. It's all about the nose and not move, because it's really tough when if you have an anxiety attack and you sort of like you sort of hyperventilation, and the different just made us think about how that's the two sides that you've described.
Yes, yeah, there is, yeah. So the medicine of breath is hugely influential in how we are in any given moment. So, for example, the fight or flight breath is a survival breath. So if you're in fight or flight survival mode, it's going to be quite difficult for you to give out unconditional love whilst you're trying to run away. So any medicine, any remedy that you can give by using the breath in a situation where you are in fact safe, you can employ that to be back in the center of that figure of 8. Now, if you are indeed in a situation where you need to run for your life, then it's quite appropriate for you to be in fight or flight mode. But often anxiety is something that gives us that feeling when it's not, when it's of no use. Anxiety makes us feel like we need to run away or something bad's going to happen when we're actually perfectly safe. And it's when we feel safe, that's when we can truly give unconditional love, because we're in the position to be in a balanced centered space where our heart center can just flow and give and receive. So we can go into a lovely meditation, a journey where we're going to use our breath to put us into a state of flow with our heart center. And we are going to go through, so that's using air and the heart for love. We're just going to go into a feeling of an expression of unconditional love. So tuning into the heart center and allowing an open portal to flow through us so that we can exist in the consciousness of unconditional love. Now, to help you do that, you might want to engage one of your helping spirits, which can represent unconditional love. And you can have that helping spirit, that guide, as the receiver of the unconditional love that's coming out. You can even expand that unconditional love stream to go to larger groups of people. So you can go into groups of family, you can go into groups of community, and even the whole entire world. But as we're working shamanically, I'd like you to imagine that you're sending that unconditional love out to the spirit guides and the helping spirits of everybody that you know and everybody that exists. And just wait for the party of the receiving of unconditional love for all of these helping spirits. So you're literally calling out to the helping spirits of the world, and you're just going to allow unconditional love to stream out to them. And in turn, it will reflect from them and come back to you. So not only are you sending it out, the unconditional love, the spirits and the guides that you're sending it out to are going to reflect it back to you. So you're also going to receive it back into your center. So it's a complete sort of cyclical portal of transferring. So the start of it, the first few minutes, I'd like you just to do some earth breathing, which is breathing softly in through the nose for 4 counts and breathing softly out through the nose just for 4 counts. And as you're doing that, I'd like you to check into your heartbeat, to check in to listen and find your own heart center. And when you're at the heart center, I'd like you to allow the opening of the heart center to begin, so that you can send out and connect to your source of unconditional love. Send it out to the spirits of the people, the helping spirits of the world, of your loved ones, of your own helping spirits, and wait for that to be reciprocated, to be fed back to you. Here we go. The unconditional love journey. I walk in beauty, beauty before me, beauty behind me, and beauty all around me. 4 of your own counts, and breathing out for 4 counts through the nose. Tuning in to your own heartbeat. Being with the rhythm of your own heart. Connecting to a portal and a source of unconditional love. Maybe there's a memory that you have which allows that source of unconditional love to appear and open. Sending out a first beam, a first light of unconditional love to a receiving guide, a helping spirit who accepts that love and reflects it back to you. This ray of unconditional love which pours out from you, you can travel through it, reflecting across the world and the planet through the air and the spirit. ask in return? What do I need to know about love and air? What magic do you have to show me? And allow it to take you. Returning back from your journey and making a note and journaling exactly what your experience was, maybe drawing it or just writing yourself down a postcard of the journey that you just had. Need to get some lavender on this spot in my neck. There we go. Really come up like a bite or something. Right, so how was our journey? The final integration of the elements of love. I'd like you to imagine that your medicine wheel is a dance floor, and if you have room where you are, literally get up and have a dance floor. And I want you to celebrate the completion of this powerful, powerful medicine wheel of love that you have created and experienced, and play in each quadrant. So have a journey across to the east to the fire, move across to the west to the earth, go and gather a bit of the south of the water, and then go to the north for the air, and then come into the middle. Stand in the center of it. Feel the direction behind you. If you're standing in the center facing the south, feel the north behind you. See the south before you. Feel the fire to one side and the earth to the other side, and twirl around and just integrate and fully experience and express the power of this medicine wheel of love. Let your imagination step in. Invite dancing mermaids, flying unicorns, leaping lizards. What were they called last week? Those fish, axolotls.
Axolotls.
Axolotls. Bring the axolotls in. It's going to be a huge celebration and an integration of the love cycle that we've gone through, okay?
Yeah.
You're all ready? Here we go. And bring it in. Air moves us, fire transforms us, water shapes us, earth heals us. Air moves us, fire transforms us, water shapes us, earth heals us. Step into the holy fire, step into the holy flame. Step into the holy fire. Step into the holy flow. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Water spirits round my head. I'm so glad that I'm not dead. Water spirits round my head. I'm so glad that I'm not dead. Witchy tie, Timarai, Uranika, hey, nay, oh. Witchy tie, Timarai, Uranika, hey, nay, oh. Water spirits. Water spirits. Fly like an eagle, fly so high, circle around the universe on wings of pure light. Fly like an eagle, fly so high, circle around the universe on wings of pure light. I walk in beauty, beauty before me, beauty behind me, and beauty all around me. Cold run of changes, feather on the bone, arc of eternity, ring of the stone. We are the old people, we are the new people, we are the same people, wiser than before. Cold run of changes, feather on the bone, arc of eternity, ring of the stone. We are the old people, we are the new people, we are the same people, wiser than just take a moment to thank all of your helping spirits who've been with you on this journey through love. And take a moment to breathe in and filling up with the cycle of love and release. And so thank you very much and well done.